My people just don't seem to get it that if you're not white and if you're not Christian, you're not one of them. They live under this delusion that there's some kind of special people that Americans need and Americans want. That's not the case, actually. And the blame for this goes to a lot of our current government and also the previous governments who created this false narrative that the whole world cares about us. Actually, it doesn't. Recently, you must have come across this um, problem between American Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha Vance. It was kind of messed up when you look into it. So his whole plan was to get Usha to convert to Christianity. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. I think he didn't realize how far right America would go. The kind of problems that he's going to face if he has any kind of liberal values or any kind of tolerance towards other communities. This is what happens when you raise entire generations on propaganda and lies. The same is with us too. Indians didn't seem to care. Indians were totally fine with this. They were even cheering for Donald Trump. They were doing havans and prayers and whatnot to make sure that Trump wins. And their whole idea was that if he wins, it's going to be easy for us to get into America. But then it quickly backfired. Now let's look at a couple of clowns, okay? Let's look at a couple of clowns. Now, one such clown is Vivek Ramaswamy. So he was at Turning Point USA recently, and a bunch of kids roasted him to his face. And the kids, these were like 19, 20-year-old kids, were just saying to his face that you're fucking brown and you're not even Christian. And then another kid says that 65% of us are Christians, and you sometimes say you're a Christian, you're a Hindu. Well, the thing is, Vivek Ramaswamy is a politician, so he can be whatever the fuck he wants, if especially if it means that he's gonna win, and that's all that matters. He's a big tech CEO, you know, he's one of those tech bros, and the way he made his money is kind of fucked up. If you look into that, that's a different story in and of itself. I don't want to get into that, but the way he made his money was not ethical in any sense of the word, but still he did it, right? So he didn't have any problem serving this particularly racist section of the society. He was totally fine. The other issue that I have is with my people back home. So whenever they see somebody of Indian origin, they just start to rally around him and act like he's our messiah or something. But that can be farther from the truth. Vivek Ramaswamy is an American citizen. And if it means that he's going to win an election, he's probably going to convert to Christianity. A lot of people have done that. Nikki Haley is one such example. You know, they'll do anything to fit in. That's what I don't like about, that's one of the most annoying things about my people, that they'll do anything if the price is right and if they get something in return, which they always wanted. And here we are. Today, nobody respects us and nobody likes us because of these things. You know, people see that and then they go, like, do these people have no self-respect? Now that we've seen the first clown, let's look at another clown. His name is Kash Patel. He's the chief of the FBI of the United States of America. The whole world is hooked onto this whole Epstein files thing, and they wanted disclosure, especially the American people. Instead of giving them that, he keeps gaslighting them on behalf of his masters. And what's this?
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
What the hell was that? Valhalla? Seriously? Are you a Viking or something? You could have just said heaven. Could have just said heaven. That would have been less embarrassing. Or you could have just said Swarga according to your faith. Instead of that, you had to say Valhalla. Like, can you try it a little harder, bro? Just go all in at this point. It looks like they're not getting your point. Just try a little harder. Perhaps they'll accept you. He just comes up and says, yeah, nobody cares about it, about this whole Epstein thing. You know, it's just a bunch of crazy lunatics who care about that. It's just the left. Nobody's buying their story about Charlie Kirk's assassination either. But it seems as if they just don't care at this point. So another incident happened in America, in Morrisonville, North Carolina. A bunch of people came up with this brilliant idea to go into a nearby cricket field. So now you might have come to know that there must have been a lot of Indians living nearby because there's a cricket ground, right? So must be a lot of Indians nearby. And there was another hint that there must be a lot of Indians living nearby because there was a lot of litter in this cricket ground and they were firing off illegal fireworks. Isn't it interesting that how people constantly call out other communities by saying they don't integrate, they don't assimilate, and then they do this shit. And then they turn around and say that the world is racist towards them. Okay, there is racism against Indians. I'm not gonna deny that. There is crazy, insane. But some of it is because of our own behavior. We set examples. You know, when other people look at us, they don't see the way you see yourself. You know, earlier the thing was there was no social media. People had no idea of how we lived and how we behaved. But now all they have to do is go onto Instagram and just follow a couple of stories and that's it. They just come to know the kind of people we are in just a couple of minutes. But no, we're never going to admit that. We're never going to admit any of our mistakes. So why would you litter in a cricket ground? And why would you use illegal firecrackers if you're so worried about the world, how the world perceives you? You're constantly worried about that, aren't you? Like, oh, everybody's racist towards us. They're jealous of us. They're not jealous of us, bro. Come on. They're jealous of China for sure. Now, here's why they're jealous of China. The Chinese economy is at least 5 times the size of our economy. At least 5 times, okay? An average Chinese earns $13,000 a year. The per capita income of China is $13,000. An average Indian earns about $2,600. You see the difference? The per capita income difference? That's what matters. Growing GDP, fastest growing economy. These are good things, you know, to hear and to just put yourself in this delusion that you're some kind of a superpower. You aren't. How many gold medals did you win in the previous Olympics again? Do you have any high-speed rail? China has 45,000 kilometers of high-speed rail coverage, high-speed rail coverage, 45,000 kilometers. Do you know how much high-speed rail we have? Zero. You know why? Because we invented zero, right? Do you know what fabs are? FABs, fabs. Semiconductor fabrication units. This is where you manufacture your semiconductors. You design them, you manufacture them. China has 44 operational fabs and 22 are under construction. Do you know how many we have? Zero. Let that sink in. Do you know how many patents China comes up with every year? About 1 million, close to 1 million, over 900,000. Do you know how many we come up with? 30,000. There's no comparison. If you look at every single country, the top 10 countries, top 20 countries, they contribute in some way or the other. We're the only ones who keep yapping non-stop without doing anything. Even our IITians are unemployed right now. The IITians, even they are unemployed right now. We have insane manpower. We could change our destiny within like 10 years if we really want it. But the thing is, none of us really want that. So now, let's see if you have a couple of choices, okay? The first one is you study for an extended period of time, every day invest a couple of hours, you attend your examination, you clear it, you pass with flying colors. That's option number one. And then there's option number two. Instead of doing all that, how about we just straight up lie to our parents, our friends, that we're doing great when the evidence says otherwise? Have you looked at our streets? Have you looked at our roads? Have you looked at our traffic? What has changed over the past 15 years? The important things, if we stop littering, if we just stop that one thing, it'll be fine. But clearly we don't want to do that. So this is a lie that Indians love their country, because if you love something, if you love your house, you would keep it clean, right? That's the first thing you would do. But when you hear a lot of Indians, you hear something else and you see a completely different thing altogether, right? You hear as if these people are so passionate, they just do anything for their country, they'll die for their country, but they'll not keep it clean. Foreigners who visit India, there are many videos if you want to go online and watch them. I'm pretty sure somebody's made a compilation by now. The foreigners who visit India, They scold the locals. They ask them not to litter. It's crazy. Forget about outside of India. A lot of Indians go to Ladakh. A lot of Indians go to northeastern states, and they take the bullshit with them, and they litter everywhere. I don't know what's wrong with our people. I don't know. I don't understand the obsession with litter. I know a lot of it is propaganda. A lot of it is Monroe Doctrine, but it's not because India was a threat to anybody. It wasn't. The West, especially America, wanted to use India as a battering ram against China to disrupt their economy. But when they realized that India is too big for this shit, they were pissed off. And rightfully so, because they thought they invested a lot in India. And we basically gave our whole IT sector to them. And we are completely dependent on America for that. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that cool? You can hear a lot of people yap all day about how it's important that we become independent and we become self-sufficient. Yeah. If enough dollars were thrown in their face, yeah, they'd sell out their families too. So we have a real choice here. We can A, be a real superpower, put in the effort, put in the work, make some sacrifices, understand our system isn't perfect, try and adapt to it, or maybe bring changes, or maybe get people elected who will bring those changes. But that's too much hard work. At least 80% of what you hear in your mainstream media is a lie, or an exaggeration, or some complete misrepresentation of facts. Not all of them are trash, I'll give you that, but most of them are. And to them, all that matters is TRP. So recently when we had this military scuffle with Pakistan, you saw how they behaved, right? They made a joke out of us. Don't you say that your country is the best country in the entire world, the best that there is, the best that ever was? So if that's true, don't you think our media should be a little more responsible in their behavior, in their actions? Even the Africans have stopped liking us these days. Do you know that? Because our media keeps lying about them, lying about their arrangements with China. Okay, we have a dispute with China, sure. We have a dispute with China, and it'll probably, maybe it'll never get resolved, or maybe it will. I don't know. I try to be an optimistic person because the way the world is going, clearly, I don't think we'll survive for long. But just because the Africans are dealing with the Chinese, they're bad now? Like, they have a choice, right? They can pick for themselves. Is this the reason why you defend other imperial projects? We probably already are in a world war. If not, we are heading towards it. Recent coups in Bangladesh, in Nepal, even in Pakistan, when Imran Khan was ousted, right? Imran Khan didn't want to give their bases to America to bomb Afghanistan. He was not on board. So what do? They activate their puppets, and these puppets lock him up. Why do you think America wants a base in Afghanistan? Think about that. So once the very famous American war criminal and Nobel Peace Prize winner at the same time, Henry Kissinger, said, to be America's enemy is dangerous, but to be America's friend is fatal. A lot of people act shocked when they find out that Iraq was actually an American ally and Americans wanted to use Iraq as a battering ram to destroy Iran. It has always been their playbook. Use Pakistan against us, use us against China, use Ukraine against Russia. American hegemony should last forever. That's the goal. That's the Monroe Doctrine. America has to be the sole superpower and maintain its power no matter the cost. And hence they've committed genocides all over the world. The Americans, over the past 20 years, just in the past 20 years, they've invaded tens of countries. Some of those countries you don't even know about because the media doesn't report it. But yet, when Russia does that, especially after the provocation of NATO and constant expansion of NATO, they're the bad guys, and then the propaganda machine comes online. The, the Russophobia is insane. If you think Indians are having it bad, okay, maybe it's it's worse for Indians than it is for Russians, for sure. Because some of our foreign policy stands recently are very messed up. It's like we've given up on all morality. Indians have a national language now. It's called whataboutry. What about this? What about that? What about this? And do you know that there was a stampede recently in one of our temples? Just another day, right? Just another day. 9 people died, maybe 10. You could have gone the next day. Who are you trying to impress? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is this about? Does doing this make you a better person, better human being? Like, why not just feed a bunch of people and go the next day? Are our lives that cheap? Now, the moment you mention this, the what about kicks in. What about that incident? That was about her. When are we going to change? You're never going to change. You're never going to get better because you think you're perfect. Now, once you think you're perfect, do you think you're going to change? Are you even going to entertain the possibility that there is a possibility for change? I don't think you'll do that. You can say that we're doing better in certain things, but there are other things that definitely have gotten worse. You know that. You see it every day. Yet you don't care.